Welcome, friends, to the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour with your hosts, Sig Bisley and Colt Mauser. Before we get started, please be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content just like this. Now, let the animation appreciation commence.
Okay, we got like one more week. That's vacation time. So we just gotta...
Yeah, man.
You gotta grit your teeth, get through it, get your shit done, and it's Christmas. And see your fat ass for a week.
Yeah, man.
TV.
Pray Santa don't bring you no coal.
I don't give a shit.
Unless you're investing in coal, because that might be good.
You can burn coal for heat. It's actually a gift.
Yeah, for those of you in Europe, you might need it.
At any rate, man, Shin Ultraman was like way different than Shin Godzilla. Same basic thing, but like a weird,
way different.
a weird tone shift. And it wasn't weird in a bad way. It was weird in a hilarious way. I actually liked it.
I think each movie
Quite a bit more.
echoed the tone of the original product, because original Godzilla was serious as a
Gritty,
heart
yeah.
attack.
Yeah, like the 1954
Right.
one.
Now, a lot of the stuff since then is not, but Ultraman was always wacky. So, anyway.
Hilarious. Anyway, so we're going to go over that later. Shows we watched this week. We finally finished the last season of DOTA Dragon's Blood.
Yep. Talk about that.
What was that thing you were going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about All of Us Are Dead.
Oh,
yeah.
I
I know I'm a year behind, but the goddamn show is 12 episodes and they're an hour apiece, so please forgive me.
You're a better man than I, because I just gave up.
Yeah.
I can't deal with zombie shows that don't involve guns in any way.
I got thoughts about it. Good
So
and
do
bad.
that. All the shit we watched this week, stuff's starting to wrap up.
Yep.
But before that, the news. Mad news.
The news.
Tons of news.
I'm going to start out with to me, the biggest news, nearest and dearest to my heart, but it's video game news.
So
you probably
big.
don't give a shit.
So big.
So From Software,
Sometimes I give a shit.
who just, came out with Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Sekiro,
They're crushing it. You can't stop them.
Bloodborne. So the next game,
Fucking
which has
printing money.
been rumored for a while, they're going back to Armored Core, boys, back to Mecha.
Classic.
So Armored Core 6, Fires Rumorcon. It looks fucking awesome. It's going to be out on every goddamn console.
It's on the high council.
Oh, yeah. Xbox. It's even going to be on the old shit, PS4, Xbox One, PC, PS5, all the stuff. So, everything but the Switch. Sorry, Switch. It's just, I love the Switch, but it does a different thing.
That's the way the Switch is, though.
Yeah, it does a different thing, which is fine. Anyway, it's coming out.
If I cared, I'd buy something that's not.
It looks
Switch.
awesome. It looks like it was Miyazaki worked on it in the beginning. And then obviously got dragged into doing Elden Ring stuff, because this has been in development for a long time. And then they dragged in Masaru Yamamura, who did Sekiro. So it's in good hands. It's not, Dark Souls 2 here. So it looks really cool. Go check it out. It's obviously a different style game, but God, I love Armored Core, man. It's so cool.
So cool.
And FromSoft knows what they're doing, so
It's got the robots.
go check it out. There's a really cool trailer out there. It's everywhere, so you can find it. And yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, moving on to a different video game franchise. Another legendary video game director, Hideo Kojima. Even if I have some issues with Kojima, but he's done some really cool shit over the years. So Death Stranding, which was, really cool but really boring, is getting a movie.
That'll be really cool, really boring.
From Hammerstone Productions, who did that new Bill and Ted. They did Barbarian, which we haven't watched yet. We'll probably watch that at some point. But
Everybody keeps yapping about it.
yeah. We watched the last one that was similar, which was not Insidious, but
It's a name like that. I do not
God
remember.
damn it!
was
Now
just-
Insidious is stuck in
It
my
was
head.
like a generic word.
It was a lot better than that. Anyway, it's so it's a legit kind of horror movie level studio for the U.S. So who knows if they'll have the budget to do what they want to do. I don't know who's going to be in it. It would be funny if it's all the people that, because the game uses actual actors and it does scanning and voices and stuff. So if it's all the same people, that'll be interesting. Like, I don't know, just cutscenes, whatever. They also announced Death Stranding 2, so they're doing that. I don't know. There's a lot of Death Stranding. So if you like Death Stranding, good news. There's a whole hell of a lot more of it coming.
Good news, it's happening.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So, this is something we've been talking about for a while, especially with Chainsaw Man. Like, really hyped for this one. Kaiju Number 8.
Yeah, those are like the two big manga that they were adapting.
So there's finally a visual out. There's finally a video out. There's a teaser out. We got
I need to be teased.
We got an animation studio, so Production IG. So very good.
No complaints.
It'll be real slick. Here's the bad news. 2024.
Oh man, I'll be old by then.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it's going to be a while. So hyped. You know, I'm definitely going to check this stuff out, but it's going to be a while.
Yeah, you're going to just have to grind it out.
I'll rein in my hypeness.
There'll be plenty of stuff in the interim.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of stuff, but 2024. When's that next Hathaway coming out?
Yeah, for Christ's sake.
All right. So, moving on. So, Ease. So, this is a Wise, or whatever you want to call it. This is a video game series that's been going on for forever. It's always been one of those kind of niche series. Kind of a bit of an action RPG, most of them. And it was always one of those kind of legendary titles, like when I was younger, you know, for Super Nintendo and whatever else, right? PlayStation, whatever. So there's a new entry coming out, Ease Nordic. So apparently everybody's getting in on the Viking steez. This one is coming out on the Switch and the PS4 and PS5. And it's coming out in 2023. The image, I bring it up because, one, it's kind of a legendary series, and it's, you know, it's kind of interesting that they're crossing over with Viking stuff. This is the 10th entry. Well, 10th main entry in the series. The visual for it looks really goddamn cool. So, I don't think there's a video out yet, but the image for it looks really cool. It's coming out next year. Go Google it up. Check that out. Search it up. Don't give Google your money or your data. But anyway, new Ease game. Looking cool. All right, so speaking of manga adaptations, so we talked about Kaiju Number 8. Ranger Reject, which looks cool. I didn't really realize what this was, but it's a Sentai manga, so I'm in already.
Oh, yeah, I read about that earlier today.
It is getting an anime adaptation, so it'll probably be a while. Once again.
If they haven't even started yet, it's going to be a while.
Yeah, I don't know. Japan's weird. Sometimes they tell you shit and it's like 2024. You know, it's forever. And sometimes they tell you shit and it's like, oh, it's coming out next season. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, whatever.
Images from it look cool. Looks appropriately Sentai. Looks a bit like Magic Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
The magic one.
Yep.
Which was, I don't know, I like that one. I think that's literally the only Power Rangers toy I ever bought. The Zord I ever bought was the magic one because it had a freaking ridiculous wizard hat. Like,
really did.
This is the best mech ever. It's got a wizard hat.
How can you go wrong?
It looks cool. And then one of the, I don't know if this is an extra ranger or a villain, but looks like Shocker kind of. So, you know,
there's usually that random extra Sentai guy that pops in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Obari Killer, you know, just an extra guy.
But yeah, it could be. Very well could be. So anyway, I bring this up for two reasons. One, because it looks cool and it'll be a cool anime. But two, there is a manga out there of it already. So if you're into that, I would say go check it out because it looks pretty neat. Yeah, look forward to that. Whenever the hell it comes out, it doesn't have a date on this one, so we shall see. But the manga's out there, so go check it out. All right, so we got another adaptation of a classic anime. This one makes a hell of a lot more sense than most of them, but it's still going to be on Netflix, so who knows if it'll be any good. So they're adapting City Hunter. At least that makes sense.
To what? Live action?
Live action, yeah.
Oh, God, I'm having so many feelings right now.
Right? Now, it looks like it's a Japanese studio doing it.
That would
and Netflix is just buying it. So it's not like...
It looks like that's easily translated into live action, though. You know what
yes.
I mean? It's just got that kind of cyberpunk-y
and it's been
dressing.
It's been adapted into live action all over the place, right? Like
it's just a cop show. Man.
Hong Kong stuff, South Korea, you know, it's all over the place. We'll see how it turns out, but again, this does look like one that is... It's like a Japanese studio doing it, Japanese writing it, and then it'll just be on Netflix. So I have more faith in that than I do in something like Cowboy Bebop that was Western and got
Yeah.
corrupted.
No, I trust them to not fuck up their own thing. So,
I mean, we'll see. But it is the kind of thing that's a lot easier to adapt. It's kind of strange it's a live action movie because there's a lot of City Hunter. Like, you figure they do a series.
Ton of City Hunter. You would easily turn that into a series.
But maybe that's the plan. Maybe do the
maybe
movie.
if they do a movie and it works out, they'll do a series.
Yeah. So this, or, you know what? I should have brought up Kenshin. That's the real analog, right? Like, Kenshin was one of those things. Yeah, it was on Netflix, the last two anyway. But, like, that was made in Japan. It was great. So hopefully it's more similar to that. And looks cool. There's one image of it out there. It looks City Hunter-ish. I mean, the main character is never going to look as broad-shouldered and ridiculous
as epically beefcake
as the anime. But sorry, Japan. That's just not going to happen. All right, moving on.
They don't have Chad enough to play that guy.
Different kind of Chad, right? So Battle Operation 2, Mobile Suit Gundam, Battle Operation 2. It is going to come out on Steam next year. So it's basically, I mean, it is a free-to-play game. I believe it is out on PS5 now. Or maybe this is, yeah, I don't know. I can't keep straight all these like team shooter, Gundam, first-person games, so I don't know which one this is. I don't play any of them because I'm not a big online games guy, even though they do look cool and it's Gundam. So Battle Operation 2 is coming out. So if you're into that, go check it out. It is coming out on Steam. A lot of people got Steam. Yeah, hopefully be pretty good. See how it goes. All right. This is another one. This is more of a public service announcement that it's only one image. But there is an image out for Dr. Stone 3. It is coming out in 2023.
Nice.
So you won't have to wait too much longer to see it. I'm looking to it. They say it's spring of 2023, so hopefully it's just right after this season. We'll be good to go. Looking forward to that one a lot. And like I said, there's one image you can look up. It's cool, but I'm more excited about it just to start. Make it happen.
The OVA was a nice, like, wet your whistle, keep me interested.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was basically like 2 to 3 episodes just stuck together.
Yeah, I like
which
when they
fine.
do that, you just get like a little taste so you don't
keep you
forget
going.
about it.
Well, it was like that was a little more production value thrown into it, but this is like the Mugen Train.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, similar. Although, God, nowhere near as like gut punchy. Damn you, Mugen Train.
Stop killing so many guys.
The Flame Hasher was so cool, man. Anyway.
Here's too base to live.
Way too base to live. So I'm going to solve a puzzle for you.
Thank God.
They are releasing some videos from the new arc of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, which is coming back soon.
Oh, okay, because they really kind of just never finished.
Because you were talking about the cliffhanger.
It wasn't really a cliffhanger. It's just like it felt like there should be one more episode. It was weird.
It's literally the next season. So it's January 5th, January 6th.
Well, because it said it was 12 episodes, but there was only 11. And I've been just waiting for that. I guess they're just like they cut it in half instead of doing a whole season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, good, because that was pissing me off.
Yeah. So it's coming back out. Hopefully it will solve all your issues.
No, that's fine.
It'd be good to go.
I was just like wicked confused as to why it ended abruptly without.
Yeah. So that's something for you to watch next season.
Without tying a bow on that shit.
For sure.
Good.
All right. So another thing.
I'm pleased.
We've said this before. There is a Dynazenon Gridman crossover film
Hell
coming.
Yeah, I can't wait.
In advance of it. Like they do a lot. They are doing a movie for each series, like a compilation movie.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm not into compilation movies just because watch the series, but if you're not sure or you just want to catch up.
Yeah, it's a good get your toes wet, man.
You check it out. And honestly, they're 12 episode series.
Yeah, they're not long.
So like
regular season.
Condensed down to a movie, it's not going to be the best thing, but that's not the worst. It's not like it's a 26 episode series and you crammed it into a movie.
Like,
that doesn't really
an hour
work.
And a half or something.
So they're going to have a limited release in cinemas in January in Japan, and then the movie, the crossover movie, the new one is going to be out in March. So
I'm stoked.
I don't know. I mean, it'll probably be more like end of next year by the time we get it over here in the West, unless someone fan subs it. But just because it takes forever, right? they're not quick about coming out with this stuff. But
some people fans of it.
you know, Dynazenon, highly recommended. Gridman, highly recommended. Crossover movie probably pretty damn good. So if you haven't gotten into any of those things, you could catch up now, or you know, if the movies come out, you could check those out and save some of your time. All right, said this earlier, but Ichiro Mizuki, who unfortunately died a little while ago, legendary, you know, Japanese super robot singer, was I think he did work with Jam Project, like
tons
super robot spirit stuff, just so awesome. He unfortunately had a lot of issues. He was at 74, so you know he was getting on in years. Oh my God, Kamen Rider, so like just everything, so cool. Mazinger Z, I mean, just if you hear his voice, you know him. All right. So Japan is actually going to be airing his last performance, apparently, on January 3rd. So apparently he did a performance here back in November, the last one before he unfortunately passed of lung cancer a few weeks ago. So R.I.P. Ichiro Mizuki, but his last performance will be out there.
That's cool.
For you to check out sometime on or after January 3rd. All right, so moving on. So award shows are award shows, whatever. But suck it, PlayStation fanboys, because Elden Ring is Game of the Year. And we hear nothing about Data War Ragnarok, which those games are cool. Don't get me wrong. They're not as good.
They don't have that Elden Ring steez.
No, they do not have that Elden Ring steez. Not even close. So it took home a bunch of other awards, but I just had to say it because suck it. Suck it dry.
Suck it hard.
Anyway, moving on. Although Chris Judge is awesome, so
it's true.
I wish it was just like I almost want to watch it more than I want to play it, but it's a little. It's just a little too Western. I hate bullet sponge enemies. I hate like there's good action systems in there. It could be more FromSoft, but it's anyway. My own hangups. It'll sell more copies. Whatever. Although I don't know, maybe not because Elden Ring sold a lot of freaking copies. So, God, Metaverse. I hate they see Metaverse because I think of Meta, which this has nothing to do with that. So Gundam, we talked a while ago about Gundam doing some Metaverse thing, which was just it's. I don't think it has anything to do with the stupid Facebook Metaverse. It's just like, yeah, they're going to do a bunch of different stuff, right? Like
stuff.
They're going to do animated stuff. They're going to do video games. Multimedia. That's the word from back in the day, but now it's the Metaverse, right?
Yeah.
Well, now there's a damn AI character you can interact with on their YouTube channel. I don't know how that works. It's creepy as hell. They are going to actually create, like, I don't know, evil new type AIs.
I hate interacting with real people. I don't really want to interact with fake people.
Right?
Just saying.
Even worse.
Maybe that's just me. But
anyway, it's kind of a neat thing. So if you all aren't a bunch of boomers, you want to go check this out, go to the Gundam YouTube channel, and, you can see what the hell's going on here. All right. Come to the last bit of news. So we don't have much cultural news today. Usually we have somebody making idiotic moves or doing things related to the coof that make no sense or whatever.
Wacky.
Yeah. So this is just actually good news. February 17th, 2023, Super Nintendo World is going to open at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Why can't it be Florida, man? I'm not flying to the West Coast. Damn it.
I know. The Florida one is getting the same stuff or similar stuff.
Oh, cool.
It's just taking longer, unfortunately.
I guess I'll have to wait.
It looks pretty cool. It looks really cool.
I'm gonna have to borrow somebody's kids to take, so I'm not that weird.
Right. Mario Kart stuff and Pokemon, all sorts of stuff.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No, this is not. They are doing it both, but this is actually the opening for Florida.
Oh, nice.
This is actually the Florida one.
See, I'm more intrigued now.
Yeah, because they have one on each coast, and I like you when they said Hollywood, I thought it was the West Coast one. It is not. It is actually in Orlando. So,
It's gonna eat Disney's lunch.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Back that up. I was initially right. It is in California. This article is confusing. It is in California. The Orlando one is opening in 2025.
I can wait that long.
Yeah. So you have to wait a little longer. It was it's confusing because the Orlando one was supposed to open in 2023, but it got delayed.
It'll be a while before my mail order kids come in anyway.
Sir. Sir, that woman is in jail now. All right.
I'm sure there's another one to take her place. I just want to take him to an amusement park, man. Not nefarious at all.
All right, Michael Jackson, that's enough.
It's enough out of you.
And that's the news.
News is over. Okay, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, they're like grinding out the last 3 things that they need to do. They destroyed the hammer.
Okay, that's good.
Then they fucked up Animus.
Yep.
And now they got to do the thing. It was always kind of dumb. They got to fight Sammy Dare and Yuhi because she wants to, like, that whole, like, back plot where she secretly, like, wants to destroy the Earth for, like, a really dumb reason. Like, they got to do that now.
I mean, she's a woman, so.
Yeah, that was always my problem with that whole thing. It's just like, that's a reason, like, a really dumb reason to want to destroy the Earth.
That's kind of retarded.
It is a little retarded. But overall, the show is good. That's why everybody liked the manga so much.
So it's got 1 episode left, 2 episodes left?
Yeah, I think 1.
Okay, so we're getting to it.
I mean, it feels like it has 1 anyway. I don't remember what episode count it is, but we're in like the 22, 23 zone.
Most stuff is wrapping up next week after, so it's going to depend.
Yeah, I imagine.
And then there's stuff preempted because of holidays, so it gets a little weird depending on what day it's on.
Yeah, this season's always wacky.
Yeah. All right, Shinobi no Itoki.
Oh yeah, like they make it seem like Itoki's pussing out because like he basically is like, we can't beat Kuga because they're fucking massive and they've already destroyed all the other villages that could help us basically.
Yeah.
And they've operas everywhere and they have like 8 zillion fucking robot ninjas that are gonna fuck our ass. So he's like,
that doesn't sound like fun.
We're just going to give them our secret ninja corps that they're after, and we're going to, like, make them sign a treaty that they can't attack us anymore. And everybody in the village is super pissed off because they want vengeance for killing his mother.
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, no, fuck you. We're doing it my way. Then, there's, like, obviously everybody's going to, like... they're just going to, like, betray him and try to, like, go attack Koga for no reason. But anyway,
it was that vengeance.
It was all an amazing ruse so he could, like, figure out who the traitor was that's been selling them out to Koga the whole time. And he does. And now he's, like, going in solo to fucking get vengeance.
Murder
himself.
assassin style. I mean, that is, you are supposed to be a ninja, right?
I mean, he's not actually going in solo. He's going in with, like...
Yeah, his crew. He's rolling deep with some Navy SEALs.
His fake sister that's a fucking terror and, like, Uncle Murder.
Yeah.
So, it's been good.
Getting it done. Okay.
I'm excited for the dramatic conclusion.
That sounds pretty good. Gundam Witch from Mercury. So, this has got to be a 50-something episode show. Like, the pacing just feels like
pacing's hyper slow, yeah. Not in a bad way, but it feels like,
It feels like it's paced for 50-something episodes. And it looks like it's about to pop off. It's about to become a Gundam show. Because so far it's been, like, school time and duels, which is cool. I like the difference.
Oh, yeah, but now they got, like, assassins from Earth doing stuff.
No, yeah, that was, like, corporate assassination, and there's... mobile suits.
Other Gundams
and mobile suits loaded up on hijacking a carrier to go, by force, kill some people and take.
It feels
stuff.
very Gundam.
It feels very Gundam.
It's turning into a very Gundam plot.
It's all coming together because the aerial is getting fixed from the Pale Company, where they're one of the companies.
Yeah.
And there's plotting going on in the background. Like, there's
everybody's trying to
two of the other companies are teaming up to take down the Pale Company, the Miorine's father's company, right? Like,
yeah, because he's the big dick around there.
Yeah, and he runs a school and all
around
that.
these parts.
but Miorine is there, and then Suletta's gonna be there. Ariel, like it's just stuff's gonna happen, right? Like it's. I think it's gonna become the
shit's popping.
Corporate war show is meant to be. Like you got people from Earth now, like mercenaries from Earth doing work. Like
some of them they're loaded up with Gundams too.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming they got those from another company. Although maybe not. Maybe they're theirs. I don't know. They seem to be like a well-armed and
financed,
informed mercenary group.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. I don't know. I'm intrigued to see where this show goes. It's intrigued me from the beginning.
It was getting a little too.
They kept it samey just long enough.
Yeah, it was starting to get to the point where I'm like, they got to do something interesting.
Like I said, for a school, I ain't see no fucking classes.
Yeah, not one. Like they haven't done any school activities.
Maybe
at all.
episode 1 or episode 2, there was 1 or 2, but like it's ridiculous.
I don't even think there was. I think there was like a reference.
There was like a test or something.
We got to do stuff.
Yeah, my only bitch. You could at least give me a couple establishing shots or something, making me realize it is still a school and not.
I
just
wish I could have
whatever
went
it
to
is.
school like that, where you do nothing except like fuck off with Gundam parts.
Pretty much.
And random.
So anyway,
robots.
Things are happening. The other complication was there's another, either another fake Elon or a
the actual Elon.
No, it wasn't the actual one because he was still somewhere else. Or it was the same one, but they mind wiped him.
Yeah, he's up to nefarious deeds.
I don't know what's going on because it's weird.
Miorine hired him to be the other pilot, though.
Yes.
So that's
thinking it was the same Elon because no one knows.
That's going to go poorly. Yeah. They should know that stuff's up, though.
They should know. Yeah.
Somebody should call them on the red phone and tell them it's a Gundam show.
They should know. Yeah, and a war's about to break out because it's a Gundam show. And not... Well, even in G Gundam, a war breaks out. Anyway, so Chainsaw Man. Oh, Chainsaw Man. So you get the fallout from the last episode where everything seemed to go to shit.
Yeah.
Not completely to shit. So everybody's picking the pieces back up. Denji and Power are just so retarded they don't really care.
And they're basically immortal, so they don't really care.
Yeah, so
Denji's trying to figure out why he can't be sad.
Denji and Power are now left to be trained by the best hunter, and he's the most psycho blade man maniac.
And he just kills him 4 million times.
Hilarious archetype. I love that guy.
The super killer that's drunk all the time and just likes to stab.
Yeah, it's great. You got some new contracts being formed with some devils. I'm trying not to say who, right? Yeah, I know. Just because it's so, because they realize that the stakes are high. Or like the gun devil, for some reason, wants Denji's heart. Don't know exactly why. Is it because it's what the hell is this stupid Pookie or whatever the hell? Poochie. Yeah, Poochie. Poochy's is that Poochie? What is Poochie? Is it like the most powerful devil ever?
Yeah.
There's something going on there. They're not revealing
Maybe
it.
It was just a baby.
Oh god. Denji and Power is ridiculous plan. We're so smart. We're gonna do stuff. Oh, it's the best. They're so dumb. They're so dumb.
They're hilariously dumb. It's a good thing they're immortal because they would have lasted 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's great. But it's just good. The show is great.
I suppose they're not technically immortal. They need to drink blood to
Yeah, if they drink blood, they get better.
I don't know if they just die though. They might just stay there forever.
Yeah, I don't know. Denji was cut into pieces. If you put him back together and give him some blood, he seems to be fine. So.
He seems to be okay.
It's a crazy ass show. It's a great goddamn show. Can't say enough good things about it. Just freaking watch it.
It's got that. It does kind of the same thing Attack on Titan did back in the day, where it's just so weird and such a novel. The Demon Hunter thing isn't a novel concept, but the way they're doing it is novel.
It is.
You know what I mean?
And Denji's just a wacky character. He's so crazy.
Yeah, that's not even
in the best way.
No, but it's it's not even really a character archetype. It's just kind of an original character.
Yeah, because usually when they do the crazy character archetype, they're just kind of annoying. Denji is not that at all. He's just he is legit crazy.
No, he's not even crazy. He's just hyper simple.
Well, no, he's very simple, but he's also crazy. Come on, you can't say he's not crazy, especially when he starts chainsawing around. He's fucking crazy.
But just like that hyper simplicity, like I don't know. I
He just
enjoy
don't
that.
give a fuck. Yeah, it's good. He's like, oh, I have my basic. I'm so simple. I have my basic needs met. I'm happy. I don't even care about anything else.
Yeah, like 3 hots and a cot, and he's ready to roll.
Yeah.
Prison style.
Cheap date. Let's see. Mob Psycho. Oh, Mob Psycho. So we're getting to the end here. I think this is the second to last episode.
Yeah, I believe so.
Mob is still trying to break out of himself because his body is just kind of autopiloting itself around and just wrecking everybody. And they're going through the greatest hits of all. Like,
Yeah, all the people he had to fight.
all the people he fought before. It's really cool. And then you get you get his brother trying to stop him at the end. And his brother going 100% and having a lot of powers that Mob has, but still can't do anything about it.
Not good enough.
And Mob is fighting from the inside. And it's very much, I said it when we were watching, it's very young. It's very like integrating your shadow. Like Mob's talking to essentially himself, but the dark side of himself that he's kept repressed. And it's starting to take over.
Yeah, it's like too powerful. He can't squash it anymore.
And he's going to, because I mean, the message is you can't, he wants to like make it go away. Like you can't make it go away. You have to become one with it.
Yeah.
You have to integrate it. You have to integrate your shadow. That's how this works. So it's a little bit on the nose there if that's where they're going, because I think they are. But I appreciate it. It's good. I like it a lot.
It's a good message.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. His name keeps popping in and out of my head, and it just popped out of my head again. And it's annoying the hell out of me. Reagan. Reagan is like, they show him at the end, and that's what's going to be the next episode, I think that's what's going to finally pull it together.
Somehow he's got to go and like half-ass it.
Somehow he's going to half-ass it, and it's going to work because that's
somehow he wins.
That's his job. Like,
this is pretty fun.
It's good stuff though. I really like where they've gone with it. I hope they just keep doing it because it's just it's such an entertaining show.
There's plenty of stories there to tell.
Plus, how else am I going to see freaking Dimple come back from space?
Yeah, right. It's happening.
All right, and then one more, Urusei Yatsura. So we just watched that just before we started recording. More wackiness, but more character development finally. So the first half is just no Ataru. It's just, oh God, it was so good. It was like
everybody's ridiculous parents have to go to parents' day.
It was like mother. It was like mother teacher conference because I don't think I saw any fathers.
Zero dads.
Yeah, it was like mother teacher conference and. We said last episode there was the teaser where Lum's mom was going to show up, and she shows up, and fucking Mendo's mom shows up, and she's on this ridiculous ox car.
For some reason, she hates like technology, so she it took her like 4 days to get there.
And it's ostentatious.
This ridiculous, ostentatious ox car.
She's on her like a carriage drawn by an ox, right? Like this ridiculous. Fancy carriage drawn by an ox, and then Lum's mom just like lands on top of the ox car and blows it up.
Blows it up.
Oh God! And there are some great jokes where Lum is just very bad at translating.
Yeah, because like her mom does not speak any language that anyone understands.
Yeah, she doesn't speak Japanese.
And Mendo's mom is super pissed and like challenges us to a duel and shit, but it get like
the translation's just bad every time.
Lum translates it super wrong, and it's funny.
Oh, it's great. And then just frustrates the hell out of Mendo's mom. She leaves.
And she just gives up.
And then the second episode is good. Because the second episode, you finally get some more character development for Taro. Because it gets old. Like, it can't just be the same thing.
Yeah, Taro just be a dick forever.
And we said a couple episodes earlier, like, there was a little bit of that character development. He finally realized a little bit, like, okay, Lum is not the worst. Like, all right, this is good. But then he's back to his old shit. And then this one... He's not paying any attention to her. Like, she has to go, and apparently she has to go and renew her passport. It takes like days. So she goes in space to renew her passport, and like, he doesn't know this. No one knows this. The audience doesn't even know this at that time. You find out later. But he's just super sad. He's like depressed. He's eventually crying. He's like, Lum, where are you? He actually feels her absence, and then she hears him, and she comes back, and you get some character growth there finally. Like, he's starting to realize, like, oh, wait, maybe I'm taking Lum for granted.
And he won't admit it, but,
Oh, he won't admit it.
She knows that.
She knows. He knows that she knows,
Yeah, definitely.
One of those things. So,
yeah, it's a good episode.
It's where the show needs to ramp that up a little bit, right? Like, it can't just be the same shit for forever. As much as I want it to continue to be completely irreverent and not have a real strong story arc, this is good.
I don't know if this is a condensed version of the original series or not.
No, it's not.
It's just straight up.
It's straight. They're going to keep doing it. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
It's Studio David, so they're doing it like they do JoJo's, right? Like
yeah, I've only seen like a smattering of the original. I haven't like watched every single.
Yeah, well,
episode,
I mean, it's a re-adaptation of the manga, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah, makes sense then.
Yep. So
Fair
it'll be going for a while. I think they're going straight through for 26, and then I mean, as long as it's popular, which it seems to be very popular, they'll just keep going.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Anyway, that's all the shit we watched. Want to talk about DOTA?
Why not?
Let's talk about DOTA. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that third season of DOTA? So we talked about the first 4 episodes a couple weeks ago, but overall, like, what were your thoughts about this season?
You kind of didn't really wrap up like the first 2 seasons, so you had to do something else.
Yeah,
you know
so we
mean?
said before, like, the first couple episodes of this season, or the first
like,
episode at least,
basically wrapped up
the last season. Which wrapped up the entire arc of the 2 seasons, right?
Yeah. So, like, after that arc was wrapped up, you didn't really need any more. I felt like it was just popular enough where they did more.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
It wasn't bad. It was just it didn't feel necessary.
Because this was like this was mostly a waste of time. It was like some alternate universe stuff that came all the way back around to square one. You know, back to where they were at the beginning of the season. Basically.
Yeah.
There's some character differences there with the Invoker, right? Like, he learns a lesson. And then
y'all done learn your lesson.
It seems like wasn't there some teaser related to the daughter still being around?
Yeah, I think she's actually still
still being around when she maybe shouldn't be. So
oh yeah, because like at the end I think she
she was healing herself
shit healed up
with the flowers, right? So that's interesting. Spoilers, Davion is dead, which the Dragon Knight is a character, and then what's her name didn't come back. Oh, the strong girl.
Miriam?
I can't remember her name.
Starts with an M.
She's been dead for a whole season pretty much, so I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
But she's still dead, I assume, because whatever. And then the guy who ran the Dragon Knights is back, so it is a reset to the beginning of the season, except for the Invoker's daughter. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna do more. I don't know how this plays in with the game. Like, someone tell me, please, because I don't understand. Because, like I said, half of these characters are in the game. Is the game a multiverse thing? Is it a different? I don't know what the hell's going on.
They referenced a ton of characters at the beginning that just they're in the game but don't appear in the series like at all.
Yeah, and the game has like 1 billion characters, right?
You would imagine.
One
would imagine.
Regardless, I mean, it's a good show overall. I liked it.
I wasn't mad I watched it.
No, it wasn't as good as Castlevania. I don't like what they did with this season. Like, I liked where they were going, and I liked the different universe. I kind of wish they had made it stick, right?
Yeah.
Because that seemed to be a theme throughout, that you can't just fix everything, right? But then
they fixed everything.
But then it kind of got,
Well, they didn't really.
Well, they did, but they did. Because Davion was still dead.
Yeah, dead, and what's-her-face wasn't back, or, you know.
Yeah, I don't.
So they clearly couldn't fix it.
But I kind of like the idea of the
whole thing was kind of pointless.
Your reality got jumbled up by the Invoker. That's just the way it is now.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it. It's just, I think it fumbled a little bit. I do. Could it be redeemed by another season? Perhaps. Would I watch another season that came out? Absolutely. Right.
Oh, I'd at least check it out. Absolutely.
And would I recommend people watch it? Sure. It's good.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't bad at all. It was just it felt tacked on.
It's not as good as Castlevania was, but it's pretty good.
I'm a sucker for just like a nice, tight arc and then just quit.
And more, animated fantasy stuff.
Yeah, I just like the style more than anything.
Yeah. Let's see. But that's my thoughts. I don't know. Anything else you want to add?
Not really.
Yeah, not too much to say about it. I mean, I suppose that's the most damning part. Like, it's good. It's competent. It's got good voice acting. It's got decent writing. It's got cool character design.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't change anything from the first one. It's basically all the same stuff.
It's got good animation. There's no woke bullshit.
Nah, the story was good. It just didn't feel like it needed to exist.
Yeah, it's just, Not a glowing praise, but it's worth it. It's worth a watch if you get the time.
Basically, it doesn't add anything to an overarching story.
No.
Like, you're basically back where you were at the end of the original arc.
Pretty much.
So if they did another season, you'd just be, like, starting from there, so that season basically doesn't exist.
Yeah, you have to
know
watch
what I
like
mean?
one episode.
I mean, you're basically getting the addition of the Invoker's daughter.
Yep.
That's it. That's the only difference from the beginning of the season to the end of the season.
Who tells you how important she is? I don't even remember her name.
Yeah, I don't remember it either.
See, this is the problem. This is kind of like
Too many characters.
this series is buttered toast. It's perfectly acceptable,
Yeah,
but you ain't ever gonna crave it.
it's true.
All right, so let me talk a bit. Let me talk a bit about All of Us Are Dead. So this is a Korean show. Came out in 2021.
Came out forever ago.
I think we did talk about the first few episodes,
Yeah.
and we're like, pretty damn lukewarm on it, right? Because the episodes are long. They're an hour long a piece. We thought it was 6 episodes or 8 episodes at the time. It was like, I don't know. It's a lot. It's 12 freaking episodes.
I could have never gotten through it.
So it's a lot. Like you got to be into it, right? So
It was just Korean kids getting eaten, basically.
so
Like,
it's
nobody had a plan. Nobody had any weapons.
you have to understand. You have to understand what it is. They get plans and weapons after. So,
I get it's a different take on zombies, but I'm just
but no, you have to understand that it is a Korean high school drama with a zombie backdrop,
that's kind of how I felt about it. Yeah.
and it's a very well done Korean high school drama, and the zombie bits are good. But if that's not what you want, it is not strictly a zombie action show, right? It's just not that. It doesn't start out as that. It's never that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, there is some cool shit in there. So you said no weapons. Like, I don't think we even gotten to the point when we watched it where the archery,
I don't think so.
where the archery girl shows up. Like, there's like the guy and the girl from the archery team show up, and they're just like,
That's pretty awesome.
they are just freaking shooting zombies left and right. Like,
I dig it.
they're pretty cool. And they pick up another senior girl who just like breaks off a freaking mop handle and is just like stabbing zombies in the
It's
throat.
one of those things. If I went back and watched it now that I know what it is, I'd probably like it better.
That's what it was. And I
I just expected something different. And I was kind of bored.
it was the thing I was doing when I was just watching random stuff. So it's interesting because it starts out with a very big cast, right? And I'm sorry, I swear this isn't racist. It's just hard to tell everybody apart. There's just too many people. It's a bunch of high school kids. They're all in like the same uniform. It's hard to tell them all apart. Like, once you get to the kind of final group, it's easy. It's fine because they differentiate them enough. Like, they're different kind of character types. But in the beginning, I mean, there's just too freaking many. I mean, we said this before. It's just there's too many. It's hard to sort everybody out. So it does whittle down. So the basic plot is a Korean like he's a like a pharmacological doctor. He worked for a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
And he's a doctor, and he had left there because he got sick of it and was teaching at a high school. And his kid was a total pussy, right? Like, always getting beat up, wouldn't stand up for himself, total baby. So he was doing experimental treatments on him to make him more aggressive, which that's crazy to begin with, but tells you a lot about how pharmaceutical companies operate. To make him more aggressive, and it got to the point where
Could just load him up with TRT.
he basically created the rage virus, right?
Yeah.
He did basically the same thing that
28
days later does, right? Like, because the zombies are very similar.
You gotta slap that monkey.
They scream, they're angry, they run at you. It's not as bad with like one drop of blood will get you, but it does work on similar rules where like if you get some of their blood,
If you get bit, yeah.
if you get bit, or if you had like an open wound and you get some of their blood on your open wound, you will also turn. There are some twists, and I'll get into the main cast because it starts out with a lot of them get eaten pretty quickly. But it does have a twist where there are, what does the kid call them? Hombies, human zombies. So there are some, and it's very rare. They keep it very, very rare. I think there's only 3 of them in the show where they retain their humanity. Well, kind of. Like, they're still a little psycho.
Yeah.
And they still crave eating flesh. But they can retain, like, the ability to talk, the ability to not, like, because the zombies go cold. They don't go cold. But they can still sometimes get the power, and they can't die. Like, like break their neck and get stabbed and all this stuff happens. They can't really die. So there's 2 or 3 of those in the show, or 3 or 4 in the show. So it's interesting. One of them is one of the main villains because he's a psycho. So main characters. So Chong-san is like the main kid. He's got the most complete arc. Like the show is kind of his show, even though he's not there in the last episode, although he's already being shown for the next season. So because they are doing another season, we'll see how that works out. Apparently this adapted a manhwa manga, Korean manga. And the first in this season adapts the whole thing. So the next season is who knows.
Oh, yeah.
So it could be one of those things where it goes really off the rails. I don't know how close, but we'll give it some time. There's Chung-san, and then there's Anjo is like the girl he really likes but doesn't like, but his neighbor. She's also the main character. She may actually be the main character because she's around the whole time, but she's a little less interesting, doesn't do as much stuff. You got Namra, who's turns into one of the human zombies, and she's like the class president. And then you have Bear Soo-hyuk. He's the he used to be a troublemaker, and now he's not. He's also like, those are kind of like the 4 main characters. Then you also have Guinam as like the bad guy, so he turns into one of those human zombie things, and he's just a psycho. He's like the not second in command, but he's like a goon for one of the like the school like gangs, right? But he's just a goon, so he's always getting shit on by the one guy. But then he gets, like Chunk said, like puts his eye out with his phone, like smacks it into his eye, and then he gets eaten by zombies, but not fully eaten. And then he comes back, but not as a zombie. He's the first one you see who's like still coherent and walking around. So then he goes on a revenge quest the whole time, like Chong said. He's like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna freaking put his eye out. Fuck that guy. And it's ridiculous. He's like the fucking Terminator. Like, you can't get rid of him.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing that goes on throughout, because he's not in every episode menacing. So like they use it just often enough, right?
Yeah.
And when he finally gets his, it's very satisfying. And then those are all the school characters. There's a little bit that goes on outside the school. There's a cop. There's a whole arc with a cop that's pretty interesting. There's a stupid like YouTuber that goes into Hyosan, which is, it all takes place in Hyosan. He's a freaking jackass. He gets killed eventually, of course. There's the firefighter who's Anjo's father, who's trying to get back to her. So he's got a whole arc with like a politician and stuff. So there's a lot of characters and sub arcs. So they do enough to keep it interesting with everything. Then there's the military who kind of takes control, and then the commander there for the martial law, because they declare martial law, military takes control. He's got a weird arc. He's a weird dude. Like, sometimes he's super sympathetic, and sometimes you're like, God, that guy's an asshole. And then he takes full responsibility at the end, and he's got a very interesting arc. So they really do understand characters, and they understand character arcs very well. And they do a good job. And like I said, once they whittle down to the main group of kids, because there's 4 or 5 more, but they're more side characters. It's good. It's interesting. And it again, if you treat it as what it is, as a, Korean high school drama with a side of zombie stuff, and violence, it's a good show.
Fair enough.
So it's interesting. I like it. If you have the time to dedicate to it, watch it. But be forewarned, it is 12-hour-long episodes. I mean, it is 12 hours.
Oh, my God, so much.
It's longer than the extended Lord of the Rings all put together. It is long. And watch the extended Lord of the Rings before we watch this. But it's an interesting show. I'm curious. It's going to get another season. Like I said, I don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't know if they can keep it that interesting for another season. Honestly, I'd love to see it be a shorter season if they're going to do that, but we'll see. You know what? Who knows? Maybe they'll surprise you. Maybe it'll be good. It's like that. Do another season of Squid Game. It's like, can you really keep that interesting?
No.
You're going to have to do something completely different and tie it in, right? Like, that's the only way it's going to work.
It's going to have to be fucking wild.
Yes. So.
Yeah, you already kind of gave up what's going on, so it's like,
yeah. It's going to have to do something. So, anyway, All of Us Are Dead. It's on Netflix. Check it out. It did come out. So it came out in 2022 on Netflix. So earlier this year. So I wasn't that far behind.
That long.
I thought it was 2021. I guess it came out in Korea in 2021. Anyway, yeah, it's an interesting show. Check her out.
Maybe I'll go back, try to watch it again.
Like I said, if you don't got time, I wouldn't bother. It's not super amazing. It's not as good as Squid Game. It is not. And it's probably less it's better made but less interesting than Hellbound, and it's way longer.
Yeah.
Like Hellbound's a bit of a mess, but it's fascinating.
Yeah,
and it's
Hellbound
not that
was
long.
just so weird. I was like, what is going on? Like,
Especially when it's like 2 shows kind of in one. It's a weird show.
It really
Like they completely change characters. It's Anyway.
That's weird
We'll
shit.
get to that. We talked about it before. All right, you ready?
Yeah, man. Ready.
You prepared?
Yeah, man.
You prepared for Ultraman?
Shin Ultraman. It's new and exciting.
Shin Ultraman. So, it's your boy Hideaki Anno again.
He's back. Doing more crazy
So they
shit.
let him do all the Shin stuff, like revive everything. You know, he did Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla is a great fucking movie. Very much more about the bureaucracy in Japan than it is anything else, pretty much.
We reviewed it. Look it up.
Yep, it's good. And then he did, he signed up to do this and kind of like Shin Kamen Rider at the same time.
Yeah.
So he finished Evangelion finally, thank God. We all thank you for that, Anno. And it ended well, and it's great. We also thank you for that, Yutaka Izubuchi. He then did Ultraman, right? Like I said, he signed up to do Ultraman Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider's already got previews out. I think that's coming out here in another few months. So we'll be talking about that when it comes out.
That one I was probably most intrigued with.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Ultraman I was stoked on, but he'll get weird with a Kamen Rider series.
I'm always more of a Kamen Rider guy than an Ultraman guy, even though I love Ultraman, and I grew up more with Ultraman just because that one series that they did in Australia was on when I was like younger.
All the time.
So anyway, what is it? So what the hell is Shin Ultraman? So it is basically what would happen if you took an Ultraman series, a classic fucking late 60s, early 70s Ultraman series, and compressed it into a movie.
Yeah, like 2 hours.
Like, it's wild because it's basically got like 2 or 3 different mini arcs going on.
It's done really well, though.
It is, and it's not super long. It's under 2 hours.
It doesn't really feel rushed, which I don't know if that's an indictment of Kamen Rider series or he just did a really good job, but like they pretty much get everything in there.
Well, this is one movie versus trying to do a series. And yes, we will still finish Kamen Rider Black Sun. But Ultraman. So it starts off, it hits the ground running. It doesn't waste any fucking time. It starts off with kaiju all over the place. And the CG is pretty good. It's not phenomenal. It's pretty good. And it's intentionally made to look a bit like guys in suits still.
Yeah, which is really good.
And I love the nod where like the first monster you see is basically Shin Godzilla with some extra shit coming out the back of his neck.
Yeah.
Right? Because one of the original Ultraman monsters was just Godzilla with some extra shit coming out the back of his neck. I think he had like a frill on his neck or something.
Definitely.
Like, so they did a similar thing here. I like it's a good nod. So they immediately go through like a bunch of monsters. They introduce you to the
SSSP.
The SSSP. I want to say like Super Ninja Science Team because I keep thinking of Gotcha Man when they do it. The SSSP.
I thought Super Ninja Science Team was Red Baron.
Oh, is there? I don't know. I thought that was Gotcha Man, but
it might be Gotcha Man.
There's a lot of science teams in Japan, all right?
Yeah.
Lots and lots of science teams. So anyway, it does start out with the team, and you got your wacky cast of characters that are government bureaucrats, but scientists. They're like a bunch of weeb. Well, not the Japanese. They can't be weebs, I guess, but
they're a bunch of super fucking nerds.
otaku ass scientists. Yeah.
They basically defeat all the monsters until there's one that they can't defeat, and they're just like, fuck it, we're all out of ideas.
Yeah, like, what are we going to do
like,
here?
they have no plan at all.
So, like, they get to the monster that they can't defeat, and then one of them, Kaminaga, Shinji Kaminaga, goes out to save a kid.
Yeah,
they
see
out there.
that there's, like, in the evacuated city, there's, like, one random little kid still running around. He's like, no, I got to go save him.
So he goes out to save him, gets killed in the process. But it's because a giant silver dude fucking comes down from the sky and the blowback from him coming down hits Kaminaga upside the head with a freaking rock.
Yeah, and he dies.
He won't stay dead, but we'll get there. He dies. big giant, kaiju-sized silver dude comes down, fights the monster, destroys it, has awesome beams, really cool, and then kind of disappears, right?
Yeah, he just fucks back off to space.
Yeah, he does the ridiculous flying. Like, the flying is hilarious. It looks like it does in the old show where it's just ridiculous. It doesn't look realistic at all. It's great.
It looks like a guy like doing a high dive in reverse, like up instead of down.
It's so
and it has
silly.
that awesome sound effects, like whoosh.
It's so good. Everything about this has that right amount of retro nostalgia cheese.
Oh god, it's so good.
And I know some people hate that, but I think they did it perfect.
Nah, they really did a good job.
Just perfect. So anyway, the rest of the team comes back, and Kaminaga, well, guess what? He's still alive, or is he? Dun, 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 dun. So, I mean, it's Ultraman. This isn't that much of a spoiler. Like, obviously, the alien that is Ultraman fused himself with Kaminaga to become
Ultraman.
half human, half Ultraman, right? Like, I can't remember what the hell the name of the species is. Like, they're from the planet of light. So, basically, the main idea is there's aliens everywhere, and they use bioweapons to attack each other. So there's probably a bunch of space wars going on, all sorts of crazy bullshit. And someone woke up all the bioweapons on Earth, which are the kaiju. And Ultraman is there to stop him because he's like the guardian of Earth because he's from the planet of light. But there's other alien interests, and you get introduced to a couple alien villains.
Yeah, there's like a lot of...
I won't get into it too much.
There's a lot of alien politics going on.
A lot of alien villains, and it's interesting because it goes through different villains. Like, versus the kaiju, then you have alien villain number 1, alien villain number 2.
Yeah, they jammed like probably 3...
It's like 3 arcs, right? Or 4, really.
Well, probably like 3 or 4 series worth of villains in there, you know what I mean?
Or a whole series worth of villains, right? I don't know. I haven't watched the original enough to know how much they stole from, right? Anyway, yeah, that's the rest of the movie. I mean, I don't want to just recount the whole thing. It's basically, Kaminaga's struggles against the different aliens who pull some dirty tricks. It's not just fighting kaiju, so don't expect it to just be Ultraman versus kaiju. There's a lot of shenanigans that go on.
It's Anno. It's going to be shenanigans.
There's still some Ultraman fights in there, don't get me wrong. But anyway, what do you think about it?
It was like a perfect homage to Ultraman. They got in everything. They definitely like took the piss out of a lot of the corny stuff, and it was great. What's her face slapping everyone in the ass all the time?
Oh my god,
that's so good.
Yeah, so I didn't even mention her.
Like his female sidekick.
Yeah, so they get the other character they get that interjects some interest into it is was it Asami?
Yeah.
It's the one she works for like the Public Intelligence Agency, so they add her to the team.
Yeah.
So she's like a super spook.
Yep.
And she's got all the connections, but yeah, she's wacky and she's always like slapping her own ass, slapping people in the ass. I don't know, it's her thing.
It's wicked fun.
Slap
and
ass.
she's just super like upbeat all the time. It's just kind of funny. But she figures out, that he's Ultraman like earlier on before everybody else does. And, so there's some like interplay with her and like the aliens.
And she's Kaminaga's acting crazy because it wasn't like a perfect fusion. It wasn't like, oh, they're the same. Like Kaminaga's body's actually in stasis somewhere.
Yeah.
But like they fused, but he doesn't really have his memories, so he's like an alien. He doesn't understand. So it's just interesting. He's like sitting there reading books for weeks on end, like trying to figure shit out.
Trying to figure out humans.
Yeah. But he fits right in because they're all a bunch of freaking otakus.
Yeah, like you don't even notice.
It's done really well. Like,
it's definitely as good as Shin Godzilla, but just very different vibe.
In a different way. Shin Godzilla is serious as a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
This is not serious.
I love I like,
but not too cheesy.
No, but he does a really good job at like the ground level. Because that's what Shin Godzilla was about, just like the ground level, like fucking bullshit.
From the average man's point of view, like, whoa, what the hell is this shit?
Like, what the fuck? How do we deal with this?
This giant guy with ridiculous, like, laser arm and like, what is going on here?
Yeah. So that's always cool. I just like that perspective. So I have no complaints about it. It was fun. It was well executed. It was like I wasn't bored ever. It was just a good movie.
No, and
the effects were really cool too.
Yeah, like I said, they're not like. They're intentionally a bit retro cheesy.
Yeah.
There's the CG at times is a little like, not the best. It's not terrible. It's one of the better ones you see out of Japan, but it's not the best. I mean, it didn't. I think their budget wasn't even that much. It was like $8 or $9 million. So
pretty good fucking job.
Pretty damn good for that, right? Yeah, I there's just nothing. I know a lot of people have a problem with this movie. I get it because like it's not like just. I think I said it when we were watching it. Like a lot of times when you do a movie for something like this, what you'll do is you'll pick one little arc, right, and that's what you'll do. You'll adapt that well. They didn't do that. They did what you said earlier, which is like
it's like four different
arcs, whether that's a one series,
I feel
like
it's
series.
4 different series worth of villains.
It very well could be, right?
There.
And they just jammed them all together. But each one has its time and place, and it all fits together. Like I don't think it's poorly done. I think it's a loose structure. It's hard to hold a movie like that together, but I think it fits the tone. Like it's not so serious. It fits the tone.
Yeah, I mean, Ultraman was never hyper serious.
And the ridiculous like world-ending device at the end.
Yeah,
he's got to deal with like. The plank brain like dimension they got to deal with. And it's wacky.
I
as
take
hell.
it in the vein that I take those like Rider versus movies, where it's just like
it's not quite as cheesy as that.
It's not nearly as cheesy as that, but like it's the same
kind of
thing
spirit.
Where it's just kind of fun. Yeah,
it's just a fun movie. It really is. It's just a fun movie. There are stakes. It's not just like nothing's going on. Like
it's not just fluff. Like
you care. You're worried at the end. Like what's gonna happen? But. I say the only if I had one nitpick, and this is a complete one nitpick, and it's probably the same in the original. It would have been better to have gotten to know Kaminaga's character before he was basically killed, taken over by the alien, whatever.
Yeah, because you don't really get a feel of what he used. Because he used to be like he's like an intelligence agent or something
like
thing.
that. Well, and the thing is, you don't like you get an idea for his character. Like he's obviously a good man. He left to save that kid, and he saved the kid.
Yeah.
Where no one else was running out there to do it, but you almost. I'm not gonna say you don't care, but you don't care that much about his fate at the end.
No.
You care about the alien's fate, who's merged with him, because that's the character you've dealt with the whole movie.
Yeah.
So at the end, you're just like,
whatever.
It's not bad.
As long as Ultraman's still Ultramaning, I don't really care.
It's fine, but it's just.
It ams what it ams.
If I had one nit to pick, it would be that. Like if they spent just a little bit of time in the beginning to make you really care about his character, I think the ending would have had more impact.
Yeah, it would have been hard to jam that in, though.
I'm not saying you do a lot. I'm not saying you had to do a lot, but they did none. They did like none.
Yeah, basically.
So minor bit.
It's literally
it doesn't really hurt the movie. It's more like that could have taken it to the next level. And that's me playing Monday quarterback. Maybe they did that and they cut it all out because it didn't work. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
But my only minor bitch, and that's not even this is still a highly recommend.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It's very good. It's got that retro cheesiness. The music is great. We didn't even mention the music. God, the music's got that retro 60s, 70s.
Yeah, it's like mad funky.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It was really good. I guess if you're a super Kamen Rider mark and you know like every series inside and out, maybe it was annoying.
Ultraman?
I mean, what did I say?
Kamen Rider. See, already moving on to Kamen Rider. That'll be next. We
were talking about it too much.
Not next as in next week, but that'll be the next Anno.
Anyway, if you're a super Ultraman mark and you've seen every series inside and out, maybe there's shit in there that's annoying. I have no idea. But from a guy who's only watched a little bit of it, the movie was really good. So this is my in-depth analysis.
Yeah. So it's a great great movie. I can't really say a bad thing about it, right? Like
no real nits.
Again, that was my minor nit, but
if you're just watching it for entertainment purposes,
it's highly entertaining.
Pretty damn money, so
I mean, this is what I want out of a show like this, right? Or a movie, I should say. Or even if they did a show, like this is exactly what I want. This is my bitch with Kamen Rider Black Sun. I just want cheesy Kamen Rider bullshit, man. I don't need it to be all serious, like super serious. You can make it a little more adult, but I shouldn't have to wait. Listen, it's an awesome moment, but I shouldn't have to wait till like episode 5 for the man to properly henshin. That's all I'm saying.
And they're pretty long episodes.
Yeah.
So I work, man.
Anyway.
At any rate, we'll get to that next week.
Great movie. Anno does work. Yeah. Can't really complain.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
I mean, he didn't direct this one, but still, he wrote it. So, you got to give the man credit.
Good enough.
Plus he did storyboards and shit like that. You know what I mean?
It was obviously him. I mean, it's like the same thing he did for the other movies. So
yeah, I mean, in this case, you had to have a toku director do it, right? And it's this guy. It's Shinji Higuchi, who's worked with Anno before on Evangelion. He did Gamera Guardian of the Universe. Like,
oh yeah,
that's what you needed.
So he knows what he's doing. He knows.
He worked on Attack on Titan at some point too. So it all makes sense. But anyway, that was a bit of an aside.
Yeah. At any rate, that's about all I got.
Me too, man. Me too.
Done. Wrapping it up. No more sides.
Nope. We're good.
All right. As usual, have a fantastic week. Don't trust the government. And we will catch you next week for a Christmas episode.
Peace.
And then I'm going to get drunk and
on Earth.
Not work for a week.
Goodwill to men.
Oh, yeah. NFTs are a scam, too.
Well, that's all for today, everyone. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning into another episode of the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour. Please remember to like and subscribe, and may your entertainment be always, well, entertaining.